All right, guys, in this video, we're going to look at an old STAAR question. It actually has new item types, and it involves rate of change and initial value, which is your slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. All right, Carson practices each day to prepare for an upcoming race. He starts the day by running 2 miles and then walking at a rate of 4 miles per hour. So per means 1. So he starts off by 2, so that means that's his initial value. Because remember, it's y equals mx plus b. M is the rate of change, and in this case is 4. He starts off with the 2 miles, so that's your initial value. Okay, so automatically, we already got the rules, so we got one of the 3 correct answers. It says, which representations show the relationship between the total number of miles he covers in a day, y, and the number of hours he walks? So I think with these kind of problems, kids just answer the first one and keep moving. Like, don't go through all of them and don't get all the maximum points they could get. I'm going to go to the graph next. So your initial value is 2, meaning it's going to start at 2 on the y-axis in this particular problem. So we know this one, because this one starts with 4, so that's not possible. Now we got to go to the table. So basically, look at it like this. I teach my students X rule Y. We already have the rules, so we're just going to plug it in here. We're going to use their numbers. I'm going to just go with 1 and 2 and see if that's enough. I'll go to the 1.5 and 2.5 if I have to use it. So all I'm doing is I'm going to plug in values. We're used to finding the rule, but in this case, we have the rule. We already figured it out. We just want to see which table works out. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 2 is 10. So when you look at the answer choices, the 1 to 6 and 2 to 10, well, it comes here. Let's look at the last table. It's 1 to 6 and then 2 to 8. So that one wouldn't work. So if you got all 3 correct, you would get the maximum amount of points. All right, let's look at another new item type. So in this case, we have to come up with the rule. They have it fixated already. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I suggest is to create the table with X rule Y. I'm not going to use the first set. I'm just going to start off with 0, 3, 9. I've learned that kids don't like to use negative, and the first set of ordered pairs has both negatives, so we're not going to use it. We can, just chose not to. It's up to you. Now my change in Y over change in X is my rate of change. So how does negative 3 become negative 4? Minus 1. Negative 4 goes down to negative 6. That's minus 2. Go to the left. How does 0 become 3? Plus 3. How does 3 become 9? Plus 6. So you end up with negative 1 over 3 and negative 2 over 6. And they both simplifies to negative 1/3. So you've got, at minimum, your rate of change. Oops. Sorry. I'll plug in my X values in the parentheses, and then we're going to multiply our rate of change times our X value. Well, anything times 0 is 0. So it's supposed to equal Y. So negative 1/3 times 0 is 0. That doesn't equal negative 3. So you take away 3, and that gives you negative 3. Now, 3 groups of negative 1/3 will give me negative 1, and negative 1 does not equal negative 4, but if I take away 3, I end up with negative 4. 9 groups of negative 1/3 will give me negative 3. That doesn't equal negative 6. So what do? Take away 3. So now I have y equals negative 1/3 x minus 3. Let me just plug in the negative 1/3. You'll have to type these in the STAAR test. And you got to get them both to get the points. All right. I'm going to have you try this one. I recommend you pause the video, come back and check. I know it's kind of small. All right, guys, it says a bowling alley charges $6.50 per game, so that's our rate of change. And $4 for shoe rental, so that's your initial value. So there goes my roll. So now what we're going to do, we have the roll. And this isn't the only way to do it. I just feel like this table gives kids more success. 1, 3, and 5 because I'm grabbing them from the table. Plug in my rate of change. Six and a half times 1 is 6.5. You're going to add 4 to that, and that gives you 10.5. So look, that's 10.5, that's 10.5. So we can cancel out C and D, but we still got a 50-50 shot. So we got to keep going. So I'm going to multiply 6.5 times 3. You don't line up decimals. 19.5 plus 4, 23.5. The only one that works is B. You could try the last one just to double check yourself if you want, but it does work out. I mean, if you look, there's no way it can be A. All right, well, thanks for watching. If it helped, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe or drop a comment.